It's time to analyze the second stage to Martin Truex Jr.'s 2019 NASCAR silly season, as it was announced on Wednesday, November 7th, 2018, that Martin Truex Jr., the 2017 NASCAR Cup Series champion, would take over the number 19 Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing, replacing the 2016 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion and promising young driver Daniel Suárez. In addition, crew chief Cole Pearn will be joining stage winner MTJ at Joe Gibbs Racing, with sponsorship likely coming from longtime sponsors such as Bass Pro Shops and auto owners next season. The causes for this move trace back to Furniture Row Racing announcing that they were going to cease operations after the 2018 season. And you can check out that video for all of the information regarding the closure. Much like his nickname, MTJ's career can be separated into many different stages. His tenure in the NASCAR Busch Series was rather impressive, and he certainly had one heck of a ride from 2004 to 2005. During those two seasons, he netted 12 wins, 32 top fives, 48 top 10 finishes, 10 pole positions, an average finish inside the top 10, and back-to-back NASCAR Busch Series championships. Certainly, MTJ was putting himself out there as one of the best prospects in the NASCAR garage, and there was no other direction for MTJ other than to go up. In 2006, Martin Truex Jr. was promoted to the NASCAR Cup Series as he was signed to drive the #1 Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boat Chevrolet Monte Carlo for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, replacing infamous NASCAR bust Steve Park. To put it nicely, his 4 seasons with the team were fairly disappointing, and they were filled with tons of bad luck and misfortunes. So much, in fact, that his first career win at the 2007 Autism Speaks 400 was heavily outshadowed by the death of former NASCAR chairman and CEO Bill France Jr. Besides the lone victory, MTJ only netted 19 top 5s, 36 top 10 finishes, and 1 chase appearance in 2007 with DEI-powered equipment. While a majority of the blame points towards the terrible ownership of Teresa Earnhardt, the performance of Truex Jr. during his tenure at DEI was very underwhelming, especially after the tone he set during his Busch Series career. In 2010, Martin Truex Jr. took his talents to Michael Waltrip Racing and signed on to the number 56 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry. With the recent successes of new teammate David Rudiman as well as a JGR alliance, this was seen as a smart move to better evolve into a future stage winner. Yeah, about that statement, this team was more relatable to a frozen apple turnover from McDonald's, as the team was frozen solid and absolutely sloppy.
Listen to the lug nut. We gotta stun this program. You fires! They are gonna be one of you.
And then having to come in on the penalty.
Those first 2 years at MWR were absolutely horrendous for the 56 team, as they truly lacked the Napa know-how under the hood, as the team finished those seasons with only 4 top 5s and 19 top 10 finishes. During the second half of his tenure, however, the Napa know-how translated from the gimmicky commercial and jingle to MTJ's race car. His 2012 season was a huge progressive season, and despite winning not being easy as pie, the team had a strong performance at Kansas among other racetracks on the schedule, and knocked on the door of victory lane. He also earned 7 top 5s, 19 top 10 finishes, and made the 2012 chase for the Sprint Cup, ultimately finishing 11th in the standings. The 2013 season, however, was broken into multiple stages with ups and downs throughout his campaign. During the season's first 15 races, he netted 3 top 5s, 6 top 10 finishes, and led a total 95 laps in the process. With that said, however, MTJ still had 0 wins on the season, despite a stellar performance in the first half. That all changed at the Sonoma Raceway as MTJ dominated the race in all stages, leading 51 laps and, most importantly, winning his second career NASCAR Cup Series race. He broke a 218-race winless streak that spanned through 4 years, 3 Jimmy Johnson championships, and a Danica Patrick win at Twin Motegi. Certainly, the barricade was broken down, and MTJ would now proceed to set the NASCAR circuit by storm. Maybe this will be the season that MTJ can win his first career NASCAR Cup Series championship.
Did you see me dance, Matt, on TV? Any desire to kiss me or no?
No desire to kiss. You know what? If you win the race, I'll kiss you.
Woo! I get a kiss from 50 if I win the 500. Hey, Denny Hamlin, Michael Waltrip, Fox Sports on TV. Do you want a taco? Me and the bear, ah! 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 Me and the bear, ah!
Before becoming an absolute clown show on NASCAR on Fox, Waltripism took form of an itch on Clint Bowyer's arm, and that itch ultimately transformed the 2013 NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup race at the Richmond 400.
Is your arm starting to hurt? I bet it's hot in there, itching. 88, right with you, right with you, right with you.
With that said, however, NASCAR took evasive action on Waltripism and announced the biggest team penalty in the sanctioning body's 65-year history. The organization was fined $300,000, and each of its 3 race teams, the 15 of Clint Bowyer, the 55 of Brian Vickers, and the 56 team of Martin Truex Jr. were docked 50 driver and owner points. As a result, MTJ was removed from the chase and replaced with Ryan Newman. Looking back at the incident, it was a stance NASCAR had to take in order to fight Waltripism.
Me and the bear, ah!
To fight intentionally manipulating races to gain a team advantage. It's unfortunate that Truex Jr. was an innocent bystander in the whole Richmond scandal, but the bottom line is MWR cheated. They altered the entire chase picture out of desperation to get the 56 team into the chase. This was the one call during Spingate that NASCAR, still to this day, got right. Unlike the decision 4 days later, however, when Jeff Gordon was added into the chase as the 13th driver. As a result of Waltripism and the Spingate controversies, it was announced that sponsor Napa Auto Parts would terminate its deal with Martin Truex Jr. and Michael Waltrip Racing. As a result, the 56 team was left with a $15 million hole without the valued sponsorship. A month later, Martin Truex Jr. was released by MWR and became a free agent. At this stage in his career, MTJ was looking even more like a bust within the series, as his first 8 seasons at the highest level of NASCAR only saw him win 2 races, far from the exceptional stats from the NASCAR Busch Series. With no sponsorship, MTJ would need a huge break to further his career. And this is all thanks to Waltripism.
Me and the bear, ah!
This team.
With that said, however, MTJ was granted his big break by Barney Visser as Martin Truex Jr. would take over the number 78 for Furniture Row Racing. And as you guys know, the rest is history. Ever since the 2014 season, MTJ has won 17 races, 55 top 5s, 90 top 10 finishes, over 5,618 laps led, and he won the 2017 NASCAR Cup Series championship. Certainly, the final stage of MTJ's career has been the most successful, and the optimism continues to grow with this announcement. So now it's time to analyze Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pearn going to Joe Gibbs Racing. For the duo, this is the hands-down best decision to further the success and momentum gained at Furniture Row Racing. The only negative with this move has been the inconsistencies and the issues with the 19 team, especially this season. Countless times we've seen pit issues and other misfortunes plague the fourth wheel team at JGR, and a driver change certainly won't resolve any of the issues that Daniel Suárez had to deal with on pit road. Now, with all of this said, however, MTJ is still a top 5 driver in the series, and Cole Pearn is one of the best crew chiefs in the NASCAR Cup Series garage. Unless something dramatic happens, you will see MTJ compete for many more wins and championships throughout his career. With that said, however, I am fairly ashamed about the way JGR completely threw Daniel Suárez under the bus. After all, he was announced as the replacement driver for Carl Edwards not even 2 years ago. Let me ask you this, Coach Joe. Why are you screwing over a top young driver, a NASCAR National Series champion with full-time sponsorship from Harrison Stanley Tools? Yes, Daniel Suárez has had some lousy numbers in the 19 car so far. He's netted 0 wins, 4 top 5s, 21 top 10 finishes, and is currently ranked 20th in points. The same position he finished in his rookie season in 2017. With that said, however, this is only year 2 from the driver from Monterrey, Mexico, and you are already kicking him out. This is the main reason why I hate JGR, is because they run like the state of Illinois. The hypocrisy and corruption within this organization makes them unlikable nowadays, especially the way they have treated their young drivers. In 2009, Joe Gibbs Racing decided to move Joey Logano into the number 20 Home Depot Toyota Camry, replacing NASCAR champion Tony Stewart. At the time, Logano was just a mere 19 years old and had only driven in 14 career NASCAR Nationwide Series races. Because of the lack of driver development and the failure to run a full-time nationwide campaign, the advertised slice bread was nothing more than a stale bag of Wonder Bread that had been opened way too soon. In the 4 years with the race team, he only netted 2 victories, 16 top 5s, 41 top 10s, and he missed the chase every single year. In 2013, the team decided to hire veteran driver and NASCAR champion Matt Kenseth to the 20 team, who was later screwed over by Coach Joe because of sponsorship issues for a little less than 10 races.
We can't afford that.
Meanwhile, the real issues at Joe Gibbs Racing, Jason Ratcliffe and the 20 pit crew retained their jobs at the organization, despite ending the playoff run for Matt Kenseth in 2017 by putting too many men over the wall to repair Kenseth's wrecked vehicle. So yeah, Joey Logano's case was supposed to teach a lesson on how not to rush prospects. Meanwhile, flash forward to 2018. Joey Logano is going to Homestead with a chance to win the championship, and Daniel Suárez has been shown the door after 2 lackluster seasons. A majority of those issues with the 19 team weren't even his fault. Maybe it is for the best, as it seems more and more likely that Suárez will take over the number 41 Ford Mustang for Stewart-Haas Racing. At least that organization honors contracts and takes their time to develop young prospects. I guarantee if Cole Custer was a Joe Gibbs Racing driver, he would have been immediately moved to the Cup Series after his win at Homestead in 2017, even though by no indications is he ready to step into that caliber car. Hopefully, sponsor Eris is either allowed to depart the race team or decides to sue JGR for a breach of contract, because it is just disgraceful how this entire situation played out. I know if I were Carlos Slim, I would not be too pleased if my spokes driver, who is a proven NASCAR champion, gets screwed out of a top-tier ride because of a lackluster first 2 seasons. So the bottom line, MTJ going to JGR is without a doubt the perfect move to continue his success. Despite inheriting a sloppy 19 team with pit issues as well as a lack of horsepower, I would expect MTJ and Cole Pearn to win 2 to 3 races next season and once again compete for a championship in Miami. One of the early storylines to watch in 2019 is whether or not the 19 team or the 18 team, led by Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens, will become the best team within the organization, or if both are on an even level playing field. Both drivers are NASCAR Cup Series champions, as Kyle Busch won in 2015 and MTJ won it last year, and they both have stellar championship winning crew chiefs and plenty of talent behind the wheel. Even though this team is as corrupt as Illinois politicians such as Rob Blagojevich, Bruce Rauner, and soon-to-be J.B. Pritzker, and the fact that they fail to acknowledge the true issues within the race team, the 4-car stable will remain as powerful as the 5th largest state in the U.S., and I expect success for Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Eric Jones in 2019. Denny Hamlin, not so much. So anyways, this is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 signing out, and just remember, life's a beach, and then you drive.
Perfect season.